Hey everyone, it's me, Ricky Carson. Welcome back to my channel. Remember, I post new videos every single day, so make sure you smash that subscribe button and let's get into the video. So the other day, I was watching YouTube, as one always does, and I was subscribed to the H3 podcast, and I normally love the show. I don't really vibe with Ethan Klein that much. Fundamental level, we kind of analyze information differently and stuff. That became really apparent to me. I know that the entire internet has been going off about Matt Rife's new special on Netflix, and a lot of people are feeling some type of way. I hadn't personally seen it at the time I started watching H3 podcast video about it. I was about like 5 minutes into H3 podcast, and this is...
Should we do Matt Rife real fast? Let's do Matt Rife. That'd be a good highlight, right?
I don't know nothing about Matt.
I think it would do really good on TikTok. He's super popular there.
Give it a try.
I went to the internet and I saw people are actually quite upset over it. So yeah, he put out his Netflix special, Natural Selection. I didn't think it was funny. Has anybody liked it? I've just seen a lot of people angry about it. Here's the joke he said. And we couldn't get over the fact they went to a restaurant and the hostess had a black eye. And here's the joke. We couldn't get over the fact that we're like, this is the face of the company. This is who you have greeting people. And my boy, who I was with, was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. They should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face. And I was like, yeah, but I feel if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye. But then he
okay. I should have seen where that was going.
And then he follows it up though by saying like, "Oh, I'm just seeing
Archie
how
Bunker.
fun you guys are. I'm seeing how Let's stop. How can you call yourself a stand-up comedian and do this hacky, dumb?
This is what led me to take a pause and then check it out for myself, because I've known about Matt Rife for a couple of years now. I think that he's a hilarious comedian. I know the type of jokes he does is a little bit risky, but I do genuinely believe like he's a good person, and he's not trying to cause harm to anyone, at least in regards of him telling jokes. So when I was hearing H3 start like talking about all of their kind of just going on the hate train about Matt Rife, I was just like, what the heck is going on here? I wanted to watch the entire Matt Rife special. I mean, I was going to do it anyway, but I was just not really in the chat rooms about it because I was focusing on other things. And so I wanted to see if I could spot out what was problematic in the special and then continue finishing the video. I found out there were a few things that people definitely wouldn't be all right with, but funny enough, it seemed like a lot of the dialogue was happening with literally Matt Rife's first joke, and it was a throwaway joke. It was nothing special. He was doing it. The joke was him testing the waters, and I think that's all right. I think the problem with a lot of comedy is being marketed for, I wouldn't say it's being marketed for everyone, but everyone feels entitled for the comedy to be tailor-made for them, which I think is so bizarre. It's either you like the comedian or you don't. Finished the show, and I continued watching the H3 podcast. Later in, Ethan just admits that he only watched 15 minutes of it, not the entire special. So, like, he first said that he saw the entire thing, and then later on, he's like, no, I only really saw 15 minutes of it. I'm like, Ethan, do you know how, like, fundamentally flawed that thinking is? Like, thank God you're not a journalist. I think this is where, like, you have all these liberals online tweeting angrily about Matt Rife and his use of jokes and stuff, and it's really not that deep. And the more as I've gotten to explore the world and meet people of different varying backgrounds, I grew up in a very liberal, progressive bubble, and so I've had a lot of my preconceived notions and beliefs challenged. There are things that upset me, but then there are things that upset me, but I'm like, it's all in good fun. It's not that serious. For Ethan to front as if he watched the entire thing and then to admit later that he only watched about 15 minutes of it and he didn't even get through the entire compass of the story of the show. Like, comedians are storytellers. Specifically, Matt Rife with his crowd work, like, he ties it all in. And so how can you have a solid opinion? Like, how can you have a solid basis for an opinion on the special if you've only watched 15 minutes of it? You went in with preconceived notions that you wouldn't like it because of stuff that other people have said on Twitter and social media. It's just really flawed thinking. I believe this is a really common occurrence amongst liberals as a whole. And I'm not even talking about like Democratic liberals. I'm talking about Republican liberals. I believe majority of Americans are liberal in principle, and then with the whole two parties sowing division over decades, I think it just widened the gap and radicalized more people on the right and the left, but more on the right. Like, let's be honest here. But yeah, I was just so disappointed that Ethan was... I don't know. I guess it's important not to have like hold these YouTubers, these influencers on such high pedestals, and I didn't think I was doing that, but when I saw how Ethan was willing just to like hate on him and say whatever he wanted without even getting the full context, like I would totally accept you not liking artist's piece of work had you actually consumed it and said, yeah, I know, this is not my type of humor, I don't find it very funny, blah blah blah. He only watched 15 minutes of it and then completely started like every bias he had in his head or every bias that other people were having, he just put that all in a megaphone. And it was just so nonchalant. It was just so disgusting. It was so disgusting. And this is such a small thing, but this was the moment I really realized from a perspective, from a certain perspective of how even, like, I understand now how, like, reasonable conservatives see the left and their canceling of speech. If you are a fan or a viewer who understands the narrative, understands that this is a space to make those types of jokes, like you wouldn't make that joke off the cusp, at your work office holiday party, right? No, there's a place and time to indulge in this, and I guess people are really sensitive. People want to be victims. I think that not all the times, like what I noticed most is what people are mainly getting at from Matt Rife's special was the domestic abuse jokes for an audience that is mainly women. I mean, this goes without saying, domestic abuse on its face is not funny, right? It's a comedy special. You're finding that nice balance, right? And you may think that, oh, that was a bad joke. It wasn't even funny. Like, yeah, when I heard it, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, we're starting off strong. We're starting off strong here. There's no allegations that Matt Rife himself is an abuser or anyone in his company is problematic. It's just a joke. And obviously, he's accumulated a lot of his fame from his audience, which is mostly female. But females and males, from a liberal standpoint and biological standpoint, mentally are the same. There really isn't that much difference. Like, if you were to take a male brain and a female brain, you would not be able to tell the difference. If you blended it up, looked at the chromosomes, then you'd be able to figure out which brain is male and which brain is female. But at the end of the day, they're the same, And so I really doubt that people would be feeling this type of way if he made a joke about a man being abused by a woman, which I think he might have made a joke about that. I think he might have made a joke about that, but if you don't F with him, then don't F with him, all right? If that's not your type of humor, okay, don't engage. Simple as that. And it's so funny because if Ethan Klein had finished the entirety of his special, he would have understood how Matt Rife's thinking comes when it comes to people like trying to cancel him or just people not wanting to understand the full context, the nuance of a certain stance, joke or tweet, you know. Let's just all promise to like do better and not take things too seriously. And if there is content, you know, that is triggering for you for whatever reason why, because, you know, we've all had troubles in our lives, we've all had things that happen to us that we wish didn't, you know, then don't engage with it. But don't try canceling someone, don't try making someone feel so small and insignificant just because your feelings got hurt indirectly and not in a like, he's not even trying to make you upset and you got upset. But at the end of the day, it wasn't for you. It was for his fan base, and he still has his fan base to this day. Majority women, at least that show up to his shows, yeah. How, like, I would love for someone to conduct a poll and ask all of those women who were in attendance if they felt personally attacked from that. Because my theory is most of them would say it was funny. Or at least they would say, I know he doesn't mean any harm by it. There you go. There you go. Well, thank you for hearing about my rant. Okay, guys, remember I post new videos every single day, so make sure you like and subscribe. Turn on that notification button, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!